Peace, family. So I wanted to share my story on how I first told my wife that I was HIV positive. I first actually told her before we were engaged. So at this point of our relationship, we were already talking about marriage, and I desired her to be my wife. But in order for her to be my wife, I knew that she had to know about my condition. So I had to get over this next big hurdle, which was telling her my story of being born HIV positive. My wife was actually the third person I had ever told in my life that I was HIV positive. The first person was a real close friend in high school. The second person was a close brother in the Nation of Islam, who was still a good brother and a mentor figure towards me. And then the third one being my wife. Before I actually told her, I was already thinking about it for quite some time. And probably for the week or two beforehand, I was thinking about it, a lot on my mind. And I remember having a conversation with my mother, and I was telling her that I wanted to propose to her. And she said, well, Marcus, you have to tell her about your condition. I said, yeah, I am. I'm just planning on the right time. She said, well, when are you going to do it? You definitely got to tell her soon. I said, yeah, no, I'm just waiting for the right moment. But I definitely plan on, having a long talk with her to be able to explain everything. I just want to make sure I do it the appropriate way. Before I told her, I was very nervous, but I also was very confident at the same time. Like, I was pretty sure that she would accept me, but I was also in my mind like, man, what if she says no? Or what if she misunderstands the HIV virus? Or what if she's just like, you know what, you're a good brother, but this is something I just don't want to accept because, she maybe didn't want to take the chances of her having it or the children having it, which would have been understandable. So what happened was I actually picked her up one night from the train station and said, hey, look, Shakur, there's something very important I would like to talk to you about. It's a lot of information, so please allow me to explain everything. My wife already knew that I was adopted. My biological mother had passed. And so I started off with that my biological mother had passed, and really the real reason why she had passed. And so my biological mother actually passed from overdosing, and she was striving to get better and recover from drugs. But I think she was having trouble with sleeping, and so according to my aunt, she was prescribed sleeping pills, but she was complaining that they weren't working properly. And so I believe one day she took more than the actual prescribed amount, and she actually went to sleep, and she never woke up. So I actually explained that was a real reason how she passed, and that how she contracted HIV from using drugs, and I contracted it from her at birth. So I basically broke down and educated her that even though I had HIV since I was undetectable, one, it's undetectable, and they're striving to have children. It's almost impossible for that other person to catch it or the future children. I could tell for her it was a lot of information, but she looked at me and she cried, and she said, I pray to Allah that one day we'll find a cure. Love you, babe, and I'm thankful to God for you and our beautiful family.